Well, I don't know if you know this, but it took almost 3 years. But the Democrats in Congress finally voted on an impeachment inquiry. It's not an impeachment. And while they claim they will conduct their hearings in public and let the president present his side, that's not entirely true. In fact, it's entirely untrue. If they ultimately vote to impeach him, he will certainly have the right to call witnesses and present his case. But the next phase of this will continue this kangaroo court in a basement behind closed doors, led by Captain Kangaroo himself, Adam the Schiff. Now, when the House voted to impeach President Nixon, it was a bipartisan act with over 400 members of Congress voting for it and only 4 people in the entire House of Representatives voting against it. Not one Republican voted for this farce, and 2 Democrats actually voted against it. Several things you should remember about this highly charged attempt to overturn your vote in 2016. Number 1, impeachment isn't removal. It's essentially a formal charge being filed. But unless the Democrats have shredded the entire Constitution, one is innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Being impeached means being formally accused, not being convicted. It would set up a trial in the U.S. Senate, who would become the jury. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court would preside at the trial, and the House would send designated members over to the Senate to present the supposed evidence. Now, it would take 67 senators, 2/3, voting for a conviction to actually remove the president. Look, that's less likely to happen than for Adam Schiff to turn down an opportunity to do a TV interview, just so you know. Number 2, impeachment was intended to be a drastic last resort for truly egregious criminal acts. Literally, since President Trump was inaugurated, some have pushed for his impeachment on an imminent basis. I mean, it was an impeachment in search of a reason. It was first because he was morally unfit, then because of Russia. Remember Russia? Then it was obstruction of justice, then racism, and then because he was accused of using the presidency to gain financially. Now think about that one. He's the only president in my lifetime to pay for his own primary race, paid for most of his general election, and upon taking office has not taken one dime of his presidential salary. Instead, he donates every penny of it to charity. He was a billionaire before he became president. So only a complete loon would believe that he risked being removed from office because he thought he might make a few $1,000 selling some hotel rooms. Number 3, impeachment should never be used because one party doesn't like how an election turned out. Now, if you stood in line 3 or 4 hours to vote in November of 2016, the Democrats in the House think you're too stupid to wait another 12 months to vote for somebody else. They would have wasted as much of their political muscle as they have of your taxpayer money and time for a crime they can't even name. Number 4, the executive and legislative branches are equal branches of government along with the judicial. We have 3 of them, all equal, right? Well, if the legislative branch can throw out the executive branch just like that, then can the president throw out the entire legislative branch? I mean, what do you think the reaction would be if President Trump announced that since Congress is incompetent and impotent, that he is disbanding them and he's going to refuse to pay them or turn on the utilities in their offices as part of the executive branch actions? Yeah. Okay, all right. Now, just like there was here, there would be some celebrating across America if he announced that. But even Republicans would be outraged by one branch not having any respect for the other. And it's my prediction that D.C. Democrats will find that even some fair-minded Democrats who live in the real America are going to be outraged by their heavy-handed and partisan actions so that President Trump won't have to throw them out after all. Why? Because I believe you will throw them out. Now, if you want more videos like that one, hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell right next to it. And if you leave a comment, positive or negative, I'll be sure that my dog Toby sees it and responds to you in kind.